So today on this Transparency Tuesday, I want to talk about being perfect because none of us are. We're all human, so we are realizing or should realize that we're going to make mistakes. We're going to have flaws. And even the best and the brightest and the most successful in whatever their field is will talk about their failures and their areas of where they were not perfect, but how they went back and looked at correcting the perfections after they moved forward. And I think we as artists, as writers, filmmakers, whatever it is that we're doing, have to realize we can't sit on something and try to get it perfect because we're never going to get there. And if we don't put our work out there, we can't get that feedback that really is where we grow. And the reason I'm saying this is for myself as a writer, there was too long that when writing, I would, instead of making, real progress, I would sit there and go from page 1 to maybe I'm on page 50. I always had to kind of do the process where I'd start from page 1 to read to get to the flow so I could kind of continue my writing. The only, I think, area that I faltered in was instead of making it to page 50 so I could continue writing, I might stop at page 15 or 20 and find, I don't really like this scene. How can I make this better? And then I sit there and just keep working on that scene. And then I get another scene and I go, how can I make this better? How can I make this perfect? In realizing I shouldn't worry about if that's perfect right now. If it makes sense, if it's getting to the point where I could move on and get it to the audience, or at least some of my friends, anyone that could read this to give me comments, that's what I need to do. And that's kind of what I've been working on. I know Anthony laughed at me because, I would go through that process and it took me a long time to write because I was so much more worried about being perfect than just meeting a deadline, so to say. And deadlines, I hate deadlines, but they're necessary in our field. So give yourself deadlines. I think that can help, saying like, I'm going to have this amount of pages, which I've been doing. I think we're at a script. I'm just slightly over 50. I hit a little bit of a snag because of where the story's going. So I've had to step back and do some research, but I'm still making progress. So it's not like I'm not physically writing on the story, but I'm still working out some parts. But the whole point of being perfect is if we try to continue to be perfect or try to make our scenes better, we're never going to make the progress of getting our stuff out there to get to the point where we can get comments and feedback from other people. And that's the whole point, is we have to continuously go and make more projects. We have to write more. We have to do more. Not to overwhelm ourselves, because we already know how I've said about that and limitations. But that's kind of where we have to look at, is not to be perfect, but just to make progress, whatever it may be. So that's kind of, as I've been saying, my challenge to myself and to everyone out there is to not be perfect. If you're perfect, you'd be God. And none of us are. We're all human. So let's try to make it to the point where we are pushing ourselves to get work out there, to get stuff done, to get feedback, to comment on each other's, to kind of give, constructive criticism, especially for writers. If you've ever been in a writing workshop, those are my favorite moments because we're so much in our heads. This is our story. We're trying to go, well, what do other people think or see? And so getting that comment, that's what really helps us move forward. So let's not worry about being perfect. Let's worry about getting work done. And I guess to quote, I'm a huge Film Riot fan, and Ryan Connolly always says, write, shoot, edit, repeat. That's kind of the method I want everyone to think about, is you just have to kind of get into, as sad as it sounds, a routine. You have to get in that routine of finishing work. And of course, if you are trying to be perfectionist, you'll never finish. You might work on things for 15, 20 years, and then who knows if you'll ever even see the completed work. So let's work on actually kind of doing that same thing, the write, shoot, edit, repeat, and let's just try to get work out there and get the critiques and grow from there.